guys. I'm dry. That's fine, because I have something super important to tell you. Super important to show you, because I think it's crazy. Okay, but let's get into this. Seriously. Hi, you guys. Welcome back to the Black Hole with OG Vibe. I'm so excited because I was doing like this thing that I do, I guess thinking or something, and basically this beautiful information was downloaded into me, and I always talk about we need new language to understand the new world that we're about to come into. How can we create the new world without this new language? Just like a cell phone existing and the word cell phone not being there to have it exist as a cell phone. Yes, I'm sure the concept of communication existed before the cell phone. However, our gathered knowledge of the concept of communication created the cell phone. Anyways, today I want to talk about, as you can see in the title of the video, this word called that I created called Paraphantasia, and also paraphonetics. This is important because they call us crazy all the time. I'm sorry for saying that word. I don't like that word either. They call us the C word because we think in a very particular way, but hopefully we can bring some science and elements into this. I think a lot of the major world religions were just personality types amplified, but those personality types see the world in such a way that can bring us information and knowledge that we can all use, in the human connectome, that we can all use to better create new experiences for ourselves and kind of jump into that future that we're, that sci-fi future that we want to be in. I mean, it's lit, right? So, paraphonetic phrases, paraphonetic terms, paraphantasia. What is this? What am I even trying to say right now? Let's go ahead and take a deep breath, because, here's a second. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath. Alright? Because, yeah, I just want to go ahead and get into this. I know you're looking at the board right now. I'm going to get into all this, what I'm trying to say. So, let's go. I don't like how my shirt was all lifted up. I ain't like, he was looking too much. She was looking too much, hunty. Alright, let's go ahead. Okay, so paraphonetic phrases, like what do I even mean by that? So let's start at the top of the board, I guess. Sorry, the light is there. But paraphonetic, let's break down the word first of all. So para means alongside or beyond, right? Para means alongside or beyond. Phonetics meaning, spoken words. So these words that speak to the idea of the beyond, right? I do that above my head because usually when we talk about chakras, the crown chakra is kind of outside the body, beyond the body, right? Beyond the flesh. So these paraphonetic terms are sort of beyond words, right? And the reason I came up with this phrase is because I've noticed that when people are speaking in this way, I'm just like a little tiny bit upset because I recorded this video on my phone, but it did not have enough memory, so I literally had to stop it. So now I'm on live recording the video, but I'm trying to kind of said some good stuff in that video, but let's just see if we can get some new words to spit out of here. But yes, these paraphonetic phrases and terms, they go beyond language as we know it, at least. And the reason I'm saying beyond is because, something that is beyond is only as far as our ability to reach it. Once we come to it, it's no longer beyond. But since we are moving from one state to another phase, we're just going to be using these kind of terms right now. This is just a phase term. Basically, these are just words that we're using temporarily until we can reach to an even more standardized understanding. But these terms are made to validate a lot of our experiences, not just validate them, but give them a platform on which we can build on top of those experiences and learn more about nature from those experiences, right? So So yeah, paraphonetic phrases. Let me go ahead and kind of read what I got down here. Also, yeah. So as I was coming up, as I was thinking or whatever, I really don't know what it is. As I was thinking, I kind of come up with these kind of theorems first, right? I kind of come up with these theorems first, and then what happens is like through confirmation or synchronicities or whatever, the confirmations like it will come to me. I'll think about the stuff first, and then like I'll get like YouTube videos later like, is this what you're trying to say? So there's words that exist to kind of explain what I'm trying to explain. However, these words are highly spiritual, and again, like I don't mind that term, but I feel like it doesn't exactly help us do anything physical, not materially physical, but it doesn't help us take action. We ruminate on these experiences because we can do nothing with them. However, if we were able to, I'm not going to say make these more dense, but make them more apparent or solidify their imagery to the point where, it's becoming to the point where we can kind of see the shapes of what we're trying to explain. These kind of shapes, I'm going to call them shapes. Like stories are different shapes too. Stories take place in different shapes. But I guess stories are also non-physical. So an example I was bringing up to like kind of explain this paraphonetic terms, because yes, when you speak in when you speak in what I'm going to be calling paraphantasia, when you're speaking in paraphonetic words, and people experience what the outside world experiences, what they're seeing. I'm calling that paraphantasia, as far as they're witnessing, communication from beyond. So that's why it can be this kind of these words are existential, and Brauma, that word itself is one of those paraphonetic words, right? That can bring on this paraphantasia or like this rambling or babbling. I'll call it not even rambling, but babbling. Um, that some people interpret as babbling because they don't hear it as They don't hear it as a paraphonetic term. So, yeah, I was trying to bring up this example of like, is a material brick and a mental brick, they're made out of the same thing. However, a material brick, um, a material brick is not material. So a mental brick is not material. However, it is made out of the same thing. So let's go into definition and see what I'm trying to say here. Uh, so um, so yes. So paraphantasia. So let me just read this right here. Paraphantasia may bring on thoughts of synchronicities, and that some might experience as paranoia as well. But let's keep that for later. Let's come back to this right here. So paraphantasia. This is what I have written down here. Paraphantasia are paraphonetic words and terms, um, are things that are both true and not true. So what do I mean by things that are both true and not true? Like I said, this brick, an imaginary brick, is literally made out of all the things that a regular brick would be made out of. If you thought about it, like, okay, it's made out of atoms, it's made out of, energy and da 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 da, which, yes, imaginary brick will be made out of the same things because that's what a brick is. However, an imaginary brick is not a real brick. I can build a brick. It's like I'm building a house right now. I'm building a house right in front of you, right? Paraphonetically, I'm building a house in front of you. But I'm not building a house in front of you. A paraphonetic phrase is something that's true and not true at the same time. So, interesting. I know. Super interesting. Why? Like, okay. Because here's why. So yes. So things are both true, not true. When given the option to pick if it's true or false and polarity, and this is kind of polarities I'm talking about, but we're going to get into that. And words that invoke existential energies, I'm going to call them, or infinite possibilities, words like God, magic, karma, Brauma, these kind of words, paranormal, these kind of words that kind of express beyond our current understanding. Like I said, it's a phase. they kind of express beyond our current understanding of reality. So we're coming into this place where these things are only as true as we make them. So let's kind of delve into this kind of like chart I'm saying here, where someone who's trying to hear someone speak in this paraphonetic way but are not understanding what they're trying to say. These are things that are both true and not true. So if you're looking for what they're saying in the material world, you're not going to see it or understand it. You have to think existentially in order to see or understand what this person is trying to express paraphonetically. All right, right? We're not crazy. We just know what we talking about. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say, baby. Oh, so yeah, When I was like, so what I do is like when I'm thinking about the stuff, I kind of think about it, and then like the confirmations will sort of come to me. So one of these videos that I watched, I thought it was so interesting, was this video on. It was a TED Talk video, and basically this lady, she was a musician. Like she made music, and she's trying to explain like where does music come from. She did her thing, at the end of the show, she was playing her instruments and stuff. And I'm like, I was expecting to see like lights, I don't know, come out the thin air. But what she was trying to explain was that music itself is a paranormal activity, a paraphonetic activity. It's a language that is both true and false as far as it's the meta construct that it's made out of, music. So she was saying, music comes from all these places, like from emotion, from sounds, like how she played a D minor or D minor note or something, which caused, the feeling of sadness. So she was saying, like, these external things which trigger, the spirit that precedes us, which observes these things, which causes the chemical reactions to act through us. The thing that happens before the chemical reactions happen first, that's that paraphase, that paraphonetic activity, which then comes into the body, and then we can only voice it through 3D. Therefore, it's a slower form of communication than just noticing the paraphonetic thing itself. And the reason I say we need words is because if we want to kind of hold on to this world that we have, sorry. This is a new thing, and I want to make sure that I'm not saying anything that will cause anyone to feel weirdly. I want to make sure what I'm saying is 100% true. Not 100% true, but I want to make sure that what I'm saying makes statistical sense. Is the thing about this whole thing is statistics, which is so cool. So these paraphonetic phrases and terms. Let me go ahead and continue talking about this is what we have here. I call it the paraphonetic split. Again, that moment where you choose. This is a choice, and if it's not a choice, then it's two different polarities or personality types or whatever we're gonna call it until we understand it more. For lack of better terms, I guess. These I'm gonna call it a choice for now. I don't even want to call it a choice because there's some things. There's chemical imbalances but besides the chemical imbalance, like we still know that we are ourselves. But I guess in the 3D, there is consequences to some of the actions that our government or whatever peoples who did this fucked up made us forget who we are shit to us. And, I don't know how else to explain that, but seriously, you have to remember who we are. Trying to speak trying to speak our truth, which can be a paraphonetic truth, which they don't teach us to think existentially. It's harder to see, like, why is music important? Why are these things important? Because it speaks to an outer body version of ourselves, a paraphonetic version of ourselves. So here's the split that I'm talking about. And again, the paraphonetic split. So there's ethereal matter, and then there's material matter. Again, that thing with the brick. It's the same thing. It's the same matter. A brick in the spirit world is the same thing as a brick in the material world. Only difference being one. only difference being one is more dense than the other. Seriously, if you had a brick in this world, guess what happens over time? Erosion. It'll blow away. It just takes longer because this world is more dense and slowly moving, and information doesn't travel as fast, and the integrity of things is illusory as well. But yeah, the difference between a paraphonetic brick. And again, I want to stay. The reason I'm trying to stay clear of these words like spiritual and stuff, only because of negative connotations that come from them, as far as like, um, how spiritual is it if it becomes physical? It's no longer spiritual in that sense to me. There's still spirituality. I think it still has its place, but I think we can change that word. I don't even really like these like religious phrases because again, um, this not this video because we can like literally, I guess, spiral off or whatever. But Paraphantasia. Just want you to really take this home with you, that you can be speaking things that maybe other people don't think about. Doesn't mean that what you're saying doesn't exist. It's probably a paraphonetic thing, and they just can't relate. Um, but as we can see here, Brauma is one of those words made thousands of years ago that came to me after I was thinking about this theorem. After I was thinking about this theorem, Brauma is a word that tries. That's basically the definition of a paraphonetic, as what I'm stating as a paraphonetic thing. So these words and things that make you think existential thoughts and can bring these existential synchronicities to you, which some might experience as paranoia, but really it's paraphonetic things happening, or you're experiencing you're experiencing paraphantasia by observing a paraphonetic thing. So like, whoa, this situation here is beyond, this feels like a magical experience. This is existential. It's a neural pathway in your brain, bro. Sorry. but yeah, if we can understand these pathways and why they're helpful, why do we even experience them? The same way, like, why when we get high off of drugs, why do we get high? Like, shouldn't it not affect us? There's things in this universe, like oxygen, that don't affect the way that we experience reality, so why are there other things? Why do we have tools if we're not going to use them? But, there's a time and place for everything. But we're reaching, I guess, into a breaking point of when this stuff is going to become relevant. So yes, paraphonetic terms, paraphantasia, synchronicities. As a practice, this is going to be one of your toughest practices because who wants to do this, I guess? But go out and give yourself existential crisis, right? Go out and give yourself some good old existential crisis. Only reason being is that we don't think about this stuff. It's like thinking about a hard math problem. Of course it's going to hurt your brain. You don't think about it often. So just think about it. Seriously. And yeah, it becomes funny because it's not cynical. It's not even a cynical funny. The other day I was crying in a video. I was like, but it's not even a cynical type of funny. It's really a funny as far as it's like a joke, or it's an energy that exists around these paraphonetic things. It just causes you to laugh, I guess. It's light energy. So when you observe, or you're in the presence of paraphonetic terms, or you're speaking in a paraphonetic way, or you're bringing paraphonetic energy into your psi field, this can energize you and the others around you to start thinking existentially, what I'm calling existential energy or paraphonetic energy. See, that doesn't feel as bad as saying thinking existentially, but it's the same thing I'm trying to say. So, but in that term, again, it's a choice to whether you choose, I call it a choice, to whether you choose to either hear it that way or not hear it that way. You can think about it eternally, or you can think about it materially. However you think about if you stop at thinking about it in a material sense, since they're both made just like a human, made out of more than one part, being material and spiritual. If you don't think about it this way, you lose half of the story. You lose half of the meaning behind what's happening. A rock falls down a hill and it hits into a tree or something, right? Sorry, I'm just trying to pull some type of random analogy, but watch me make it make sense, because when you're speaking in paraphantasia, the energies move through actual physical objects. That's the only way it can be expressed, like how paraphonetic terms can only be expressed verbally through material language, you know. So I'm telling you a story in a material language to connect this paraphonetic energy into a metaphor of sorts, but really I'm world building inside of your head right now. So a rock falls down a hill and hits a tree. This is an illusion for life, starting at a point, coming down into the ethers, and then all of a sudden it hits you, and then you have knowledge. That all came from paraphonetic speech. That all came from just me energetically tracking the paraphonetic energies, the existential energies that I see as they're traveling. They are meaningful. The existential energies are meaningful, as in when you speak them, they are in full meaning. It can sound like babbling if you don't, apply it to like a battery does, like in the natural process, like I call it a hallway, a physical hallway. If you don't apply it, these terms, into a way that the currents can travel through physical means, like I'm not telling you what I say out loud and making sense by connecting points, a tree falling in, story, by connecting points, that energy, that paraphonetic energy can't travel. And I can also let that paraphonetic energy go, try to tell you that same story about a rock falling down a tree and have no idea why it would be even important to tell you that. I don't know. But how do you onset these states? You have to remember that there are phrases to kind of bring you there. You must simply say, I am eternal, that was about it. Like, seriously, that pretty much brought it on for me. But yes, paraphonetic phrases, starting to speak paraphonetically, starting to speak in power, as they say. It's just basically bringing those paraphonetic things and giving them physical bodies into which are stories, into which they can be expressed. I'm done in today's video. I'm totally done. But you guys tell me what you think. I'm about to upload this right away because this is groundbreaking for me, homie. This is groundbreaking right now, to be honest with you. You feel me? Paraphantasia. Next time you hear your crazy cousin talking about, man, the damn, aliens or whatever, they're trying to probably really derive meaning from something happening. However, it's like theoretical meaning until, but theoretical meaning, but still meaning from source, as in still statistically true things. So we're going to delve deep into that. Again, we don't have all the language to kind of express what we're trying to say here, but if you do read my story, the Grammaticon, I tried to bring in some other words into, the ethos, like Percepticons and, Conundricons and everything like that, just to help you kind of build past those existential things, like, when you have to face your demons, quote unquote, humanity. When you have to face your demons, maybe that book will probably help you kind of just see, like, that it is it is real. What you're experiencing is real. Woo! I don't know why that light done shut off on me like that. But what you're experiencing is real. In that, basically, I don't know. Now, what you're experiencing is real, and that, we hear you. We're out here for you. Paraphantasia. You're not crazy. You're experiencing something existential, which can bring on certain attributes, but it doesn't mean that it's technically spiritual. If you don't believe in spirituality, that's totally fine. If you do speak in terms of spirituality, same energy, same source energy, same speaking energy, but you can make it make sense. Hopefully this video helped a little bit, trying to find some way to explain it. Can't really do that right now. I'm tired. I'm out of here. I love you guys. Thank you for joining us on a Black Hole today with OG Vibe. We are signing out. Bye.